All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Smudcast number 945. The Wheel of Time is great. Here's why. And this is by KritterXD, whom we've never covered before. This is a 3-4-year-old video or so. Has about 5,500 views. She's got a small channel, so it's not a big deal. But if in case you haven't noticed, I was looking for this video. And she's copying a thumbnail from another person called Man Carrying Thing, who also has the same or very similar title. It says, The Wheel of Time failed, here's why. So obviously she watched that and said, no.
Well, she didn't even watch it. She just saw the thumbnail, apparently.
Oh, yeah? Well, no, she could have watched it and just didn't understand a damn thing because her favorite thing was being attacked. So it's like, oh, I don't like that response. I'm going to do my own. So she probably got motivated and did her own. So, yeah, here we are. What else to say about this video? Okay, it is almost 20 minutes long, I believe. And, yeah, let me check the downvotes there. Oh, it's even. It's basically 653 by 621, so it's right on the horizon there. So maybe there are some people who like the thing. I don't know. It's possible. I'm going to sort by, well, I'll do the sorting of the comments because there's always some great comments like years later. People are like, you're crazy, this didn't age well, blah, blah, blah. So maybe that'll be fun to go through later. But we can get started with the video. Whisp will definitely pop in. I don't know about Hawk. And just to say, we haven't had Dunn on in years, so I don't know where you've been. Yeah. But thanks for joining us for all this time.
Yeah, I was for the longest time I was working during the day, which created problems. Like I was working for Repay. I was working for I was studying for the LSAT. I was working for banking place.
Busy stuff.
Yeah, it was mostly work. And then worked for a KBA Health Solutions, mostly like customer service jobs during the day, and that so I wasn't able to come on.
All right.
But now I'm back for a
while. Well, covering a topic that very few people actually want to cover because it's so painfully bad, and only fans of the books. Wow, was that Hawk? Oh my God, Hawk! You sound like a Snoopy grown up. You're like, Hawk, that is amazing. That is hilarious.
It's so funny.
Like you're underwater and there's like the bubbles are hitting the microphone. Oh man, that is brilliant. Okay, yeah, no, we're gonna go right now, and Hawk will figure out his technical issues. Oh my God, that was great. Okay.
That was so funny.
Here's the deal. This video is in response to another video that has the exact opposite premise and a similar, but I would argue somehow way more clickbaity thumbnail and title.
I do not feel like this is a great start.
No. You don't open up this video saying, I'm gonna do a response video to another video just like mine.
Though I did not watch that video.
Oh no!
Negativity in my
You didn't watch it. That just gives your credibility a boost.
Yeah. So yeah, the word I was just like, yep, she didn't even watch it. She just saw the thumbnail, and she is admitting it in this video.
I wanna point to the rightmost part of the screen. She has a giant poster painting. I don't know what that is. Of I guess it's a fangirl. I don't know what that is. Does anyone know?
I think that's a screen.
That's a screen. Oh, it's a TV screen. Okay, fair enough. And is it her? Is it her merch? Did she draw that?
It's her channel icon. There's an artist that goes around the Wheel of Time Discord servers that you can commission to do basically chibi versions of avatars and stuff.
Okay, that is a little odd, but I mean, if that's your thing and you want to help out your community, that's definitely an option. So a little strange, but okay. She is a fan. Let's just say that and go with it.
Yeah,
My
but
life.
I wish that I could bake a cake made out of rainbows and smiles, and we'd all eat it and be happy.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to give you hopefully a way more succinct video explaining why I, a die-hard Wheel of Time book fan who has read all of the books.
Okay. Whoa. There's a big difference with the quality of the books, and then there's a big difference between the adaptation. I think we all can realize that.
yes. It
So there's a disconnect here already. We're like, wait a second, you like everything Wheel of Time? If they have like shoes and sneakers, you're like, these are amazing shoes. They're Wheel of Time. Like that's not how these things work.
Yeah, also, I am a diehard fan of the books, and then you have to add, I have read all of them. Why? Why was that needed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, partially because Man Carrying Thing has only read up to Wheel of Time book 2. And he put out his video saying that Wheel of Time season 1 was bad. But he mostly did it as like, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care if this kind of like alludes to stuff later down the line, which it doesn't really, like at all.
Well,
This is a bad story. This is a bad show in and of itself.
oh, see, that's the other part of analyzing this is it a bad adaptation or is it just bad storytelling in general? So, yeah, you don't have to read all the books to know that exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of both. It's both a bad adaptation and a bad show. Like, I actually think that the Legend of the Seeker is a better show than the Wheel of Time
Really?
TV show.
That's
Oh yeah,
whew. Okay. I mean, I've seen, was it sort of Shannara? Was that the Shannara adaptation?
Shannara Chronicles
Yeah,
was pretty bad. That's the
Yeah.
only thing that I can think of that's comparable to Wheel of Time.
Exactly. And I was like, because I've read a little bit of Shannara. I don't need to know all of Shannara to know what's going on. But the stuff I do know, I'm like, that's not how it was shown in the books. And you can change it for good reason, but it's like, there's no need to do that. The tech was there. You didn't have to have like, reforming swords popping out of people's arms. Like, what the hell? So stuff that was never in the books, you're like, yee, that's not right. So anyway,
Yeah.
she's read all the books.
Unlike that,
Enjoy the Wheel of Time show on Amazon Prime. And why I believe that it was, in fact, a very good show.
Okay, so Mrs. Reese's Pieces is already confusing me. Because people who read the books know better. They should automatically know the books are better and go, wait a second, not all the books, some of the books. Okay.
So here's the weird thing about her particular subsection of the Wheel of Time fantasy series. There's kind of two camps. One camp is just they want to see the Wheel of Time on screen in any capacity, and they will love whatever comes out. And then there's the other side of the camp that want the books to be changed for a modern audience. I think she might be kind of a mix of both.
So that's the pro-show fans. Those are the two groups.
Oh yeah, where they like, we don't like these aspects of the book. We want them to be changed. Like they want Juan and Moraine to be openly gay.
What? Why?
Which shippers, it's shipper culture ruining everything. That's per usual.
Okay, but these are, again, there's lots of authors of the Wheel of Time books as far as I remember. So
just two.
Sanderson and the other guy, Robert Jordan,
yeah.
Robert Jordan, thank you.
Yeah, but only because Robert Jordan died.
Right.
After finishing book 11, and his wife and editor, Harriet McDougall, found Sanderson, brought him over. Jordan had written the ending, and Sanderson just did his best to take the notes and write up to the last split the originally one massive 3,000 page book into 3 3,000-page books.
Right.
3 1,000-page books. I mean,
And he finished them off. He finished.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
The finish part, I would wager, is not exactly correct in terms of the actual what happens in the books, but that's my personal opinion.
the issue is that as the series went on with Robert, it got worse and worse. And Sanderson was like, "Oh, I got to fix, or someone's got to fix this," and they chose him to clean it up and finish it off. That's what I got.
Partially, he got World Builder's disease. I think Knife of Dreams ended very well, but the problem was he fell in love a little bit too much with his world and started expanding way too much and seemed to get a little bit bored, and just decided to really slow down his pace, and that really killed a lot of people's. Crossroads of Twilight, the second to last book, is the worst one. Everybody hates that book. But then you have Knife of Dreams right after, which concludes a lot of stuff that was set up in the previous books. But the problem is, it just took way too long, and there could have been a lot of stuff cut out of the previous 3 books in order to actually streamline the narrative.
Interesting. Okay. Let's get on with her argument, if she has one.
Here's how I'll go about it. I'll talk about the plot, the characters, the quality, and the understanding of the source material. This video will only contain spoilers from the Wheel of Time Season 1. Topic number 1, the plot. I maintain that the broad brushstrokes are the same from the books to the show, and I'm going to use the monomyth, aka the hero's journey, popularized by Joseph Campbell.
I would very much argue that the broad strokes, that is very general for, firstly, that is a very general statement, and then I think this should be taken with a massive grain of salt, because it isn't really broad strokes.
Okay. So
it's way less than that.
So what is she said the book, so I'm assuming that season 1 takes place over several books, which means that just one. Oh,
just the first book.
Then that should be rather obvious if the plot is the same, right? It should be like, okay, this happens and that happens, and right, okay.
Yeah, the problem is they changed it a lot.
Then it's not the same plot.
Yeah, they have a plot cul-de-sac where they go to the White Tower because reasons, and then they have to, instead of a different city, when it's kind of like, if they get here, what is the point of leaving? As well as make up a lot of contrived stupid drama with the Aes Sedai that wasn't there, rather than actually focusing on the main 3 characters who are going to be our main characters going forward throughout the books.
All right, cool.
And they also cut significant characters. They also change a lot of characters, and mainly it's because the showrunner wanted to put his boyfriend into more stuff. So that's why a lot of the Aes Sedai stuff exists. I'm not kidding. The guy playing one of the warders is his boyfriend.
Nice.
Is the showrunner's boyfriend. So it's massive nepotism.
Okay. So she's wrong on the initial understand. Maybe her definition of the word plot is different than ours. That's possible. I don't know. So
she's very forgiving.
She is sounding very well. She's in defense of the show. So yeah, she has to be. Okay.
Yeah.
Campbell used the monomyth to analyze and compare religions. In his famous book from 1949, The Hero with 1,000 Faces.
Well, he compared more than religion, but she's not wrong.
He describes the narrative pattern as follows. The departure, which involves the call to...
Why are we... Okay, let's do this. We're going through the whole monolith, apparently.
Okay, welcome. Yeah, let's do this.
The 101, the monolith. Here we go.
Adventure. Refusal of the call. Supernatural aid. The crossing of the belly of the whale. There's more, but I would argue that the first season of The Wheel of Time, as well as the first book, basically just involves departure.
Okay, that's fine. You've categorized it in a way that we can take a 10,000-foot view of things. It's fine. That doesn't make the plot the same. That's silly.
It is fundamentally different, and even the climax is wildly different and worse.
Well, is she doing dramatic structure next, or is she just doing the monomyth? Like, what is she comparing? It's
I don't know. I haven't watched this video in a couple of years,
okay.
but I just know that I was like I hated it. I was so angry at it.
Maybe
At
her
it.
understanding of literary analysis, and I hate to use any kind of like, ooh, I'm a guy who reads books and I analyze literature. Like, it's maybe her understanding of plot and framing a monomyth is not the same understanding as ours. I don't know.
Yeah.
Trying to be
Possibly.
nice.
Let's see.
All right. Anyway,
If that sounded familiar to you, The Lord of the Rings, especially The Fellowship of the Ring, is a great example of this, as is The Hobbit. Gandalf shows up, tries to get Frodo to leave. Frodo's hesitant. Eventually he goes. They end up having to cross the ferry. You see what I'm saying? Well, in The Wheel of Time, they get their call to adventure from Moraine and end up leaving Eamonsfield.
Yet there is
Rand
a very
especially continues
critical
to push
difference.
back. Moraine played the role of the supernatural.
Yet
No,
there are-
no. I'm sorry. I would
Which are not
say
the same
that
in
they.
It is
Yeah,
butchered
I
in the
would.
show. It is very butchered in the show. Like she
Yeah.
just comes out and saying, "Oh, you're the guy that could either be the Antichrist or the savior of the world, right in the middle of town."
Yeah. It's in the original, I mean, in the book, you can say that there is kind of a call to adventure. Yes, the circumstances force it partially, but there is that whole thing of call to the adventure and everything. And the show, they have no choice. They have absolutely zero choice on the matter.
Yep, because if they stay, Trollocs are going to come kill everybody in the Two Rivers, and yet for whatever reason, there's another army of Trollocs coming at the end of the episode, and they leave. What's going to stop the more Trollocs from just killing the Two Rivers on the way there? Also, really, really stupid. There's also the problem of Trollocs can't cross the river, and the Two Rivers is functionally an island with a bunch of mountains behind it. So why would they try? They would. Ugh. Just stupid. And also the fact that they inserted a really stupid thing about the dragon could be a male or a female is really stupid as well, because if it's a girl, what that change if the possibility is that it could be a girl, that introduces fundamental problems about the world building where some ladies could claim to be the Dragon Reborn and have no issues because they're not going to go mad. That's the reason why the Dragon Reborn is considered scary, is because he's a man who can channel, and only a man who can channel, who will go nuts and kill a lot of people, theoretically. It's so frustrating.
okay.
Natural, informing Egwene of her potential and do with it. They cross the Terran ferry while pursued by Shadowspawn. They're forced into Shadar Logoth, where Matt finds and takes the dagger that will plague him for a long, long time. Nynaeve returns. After everyone's been separated, Rand and Matt encounter some dark friends, and Perrin and Egwene encounter some tinkers. And did I mention that in this episode, Tom's absence has been rectified? Meanwhile, they've all been having some crazy dreams, and Perrin starts his lifelong relationship with the wolves. Perrin and Egwene have
So is this just like a scene by scene description? I don't like.
This is an episode by episode description with some broad summaries.
Yeah, but why is she like?
She's also being very.
This happened, then that happened, then after that.
Yeah,
it's like,
she's saying, look, the same thing happened in the books, or at least in some way, so it's correct.
really?
And but the problem is they've mangled and twisted it, and they've just removed a lot of key details and added a lot of extraneous BS that doesn't matter.
This should be fairly simple to just read chapter 1 and then watch episode, or however it's broken down in the first season, to see the differences. I I'm not even interested in watching the show, but I'd be like, I could do that. That's not hard. Just write it down. What happens? Should be easy.
Yeah. Problem is, it's fundamentally different. Is like Whisp actually nearly had an brain aneurysm watching it with me. We had to pause every 2 minutes.
Well, like a few years ago.
Yeah.
I remember I remember one episode taking about an hour and a half to 2 hours on average.
Oh.
Well, in part, I got that because you had already seen the episodes and kept saying every single time, "Oh, it's getting worse, and that was really driving me nuts.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Hey, Wisp, watch this. It's gonna suck. Can't wait for 10
I
minutes.
I knew that, but at least if we had talked about how it is bad and not just being told that, oh, it's getting worse. I'm not there to just see it getting worse. I know that it's gonna get worse. I want to talk about how it is bad, like the way we suffered through the Shogun demake. It was equally as horrible and distorted as the Wheel of Time show.
All right, let's keep going.
We
Have
have
a
not started yet?
Interaction with the White Cloaks. We finally get some golden eyes. They all reunite in a big city. They find Loyal
Can
and
you
big
take
bring
the
up
ways to
speed on
Faldara,
this?
with one notable exception in
Oh, sorry. She is saying
fault
that
of the
the
writers.
Wheel of
That was
Time is
extenuating
fundamentally
circumstances,
similar.
and I won't hold that against them. Rand has a conversation with Ashamiel, believing he's the Dark One at the Eye of the World, and ultimately defeats him. Kind of. If you've read The Eye of the World, then you know that all of those things happened in the book. The broad brushstrokes were absolutely
I
there.
need to switch the browser.
Okay, so her argument is the main plot points are there, the main events. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Not in the way they should have happened.
Okay, that's
they
a bit.
happen,
That's
but not like they should have happened. In the
that's like
books.
saying I'm a caterer for a wedding and I showed up, but I didn't bring any food. It's like, what? I'm there. Didn't do anything.
Yeah, this is effectively what the show did.
Oh dear. So
It's basically like a mangling and mixing of events with some extraneous nonsense thrown in with the Aes Sedai.
I'm assuming the estate or whoever's in charge of the lore was like, yeah, just do whatever you like. I don't care, or they weren't even involved.
Yeah,
No,
medieval
my-
entertainment is notoriously stupid. Like they're
My
a joke in
personal-
the industry.
I have absolutely no no source or substance for this, but my personal guess is that his wife didn't actually like his work, and after his death, just sold out the license
Yeah.
to wherever, because the comic that was made was also shit.
Mm.
And I'd not be surprised, because in the story, the main character, who is his self-insert, has a harem and writes about how he loves all the women. And well, if you are a wife, you don't necessarily like that. Possibly, even if you say you do. This is just my personal guess.
Interesting. Huh. All right. Let's keep going then.
They changed absolutely. But they were always going to change a few things. You can't take a line-by-line adaptation of a book, put it into a show, and have it be successful.
Nobody asked for that.
Okay, so she's making a very weak adaptation argument, and there's lots of ways to make one. Yeah, no one does line by lines. That's true, but that's not was made. They drastically changed nearly every line, nearly every scene, and
Every character was changed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
like
And the world was also changed.
The
yeah,
way the
world-
magic works was changed.
And like we can disprove this very easily. Game of Thrones season 1, wildly successful. Basically an almost line by line recreation of the book with only some small changes. Just like some of the changes were budgetary reasons, like Tyrion getting knocked out before the final battle of season 1, but because the showrunners were famously bad with money. That's the actual reason why, as per the behind the scenes book. But like, if they had just done Wheel of Time in the same way they did Game of Thrones, They have had a problem.
Okay.
Impossible.
I just can't do it, Captain. I don't have the power.
Not to mention, I believe the relevant
So wait a second. You're making a joke about the showrunner, and therefore it's okay.
Yeah.
Rafe Judkins didn't. It's not that he couldn't. It's that he didn't want to. He was actively malicious, and he gloated about how he was actively malicious towards the show and the material. Probably because it was Wheel of Time is actual equality between the sexes, or about that. But that means it also talks about the shortcomings of both sexes. Because the through line running gag of the books is that the men and the women want the same thing, which is to better the world and to solve problems, but they both do it their specific way, think the others are complete idiots and never communicate, when it is them both who never communicate with one another. And thereby, there is a famous thing, I think it's in the Stone of Tear, where they try to rescue each other or something, and
They're trying
they
to figure
just
out how
stomp.
each other uses. They're trying to see how
they just-
each other uses the power, the one power. Or
Well,
are you thinking about Matt rescuing?
What I mean is they stomp on each other's toes while they both try to get to achieve the same goal instead of just working together. That's the through line of the whole thing. Like both are dumb for not talking with each other and making actual plans together, because the whole story of Wheel of Time is men and women overcoming their idiocy and their prejudices against one another, and instead starting to complement one another. That's why it's the whole yin-yang symbolism, which is inverted in Wheel of Time, because the real black tear or the black snake, that is the male symbol for yin, for yang, and the white one is the female, the male symbol for yin. And in Wheel of Time, it's inverted, which for the longest time fucked me up in properly distinguishing the two.
Fair point.
All right.
changes are explainable and salvageable.
No, they are not.
I know the biggest turnoff for a lot of people
Nothing in this show is
was the
salvageable.
fridging of Perrin's wife.
Fridging?
Who didn't even exist
Yes, exactly.
in the books. Fridging
Nobody needed to be fridged. You fucking idiot. Is this Maggie? Is this supposed to be Maggie?
No, this is a fan of the books and the show and everything in between.
I thought we were doing a Maggie video.
Bad enough. This is okay. It's all right.
Okay, she's not a fan. If she's defending this shit show.
Oh.
See, you can't be. Then you're just some tourist who the same kind of people who love Disney Star Wars.
I seem to akin these people to like going to, like, everything McDonald's is good. I go to McDonald's, I buy anything on the menu, I like it because it's McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
Not knowing that it's not the greatest food in the world. So.
Yeah, well, the CEO of McDonald's doesn't like it.
He's not very hungry though. He's okay. He's
Yeah. He took a bite, a nibble out of the.
He must
bread.
have had like 60 shots. He was so busy eating Big Macs he couldn't do like another. He's like, another big.
Sure. Just that we don't have on camera how he was eating the other burgers.
Yeah.
Right.
Even
That's
just killing
the story I
Perrin,
give myself. Yeah.
Yeah, Perrin just giving Perrin a wife that he did not have, and just arbitrarily killing her at the end of the first episode destroys his arc going forward.
Who was also mean to him and better than him.
Yeah, which is really.
She was just a mean, feminist, strong woman.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they did kill her and didn't just replace him with her.
So you're saying they gave a character in a story a wife that was never in the books just to kill her off?
Yes.
Yep.
And she was also better than him.
We mean better, like
Yes.
stronger?
And he couldn't. Yeah. She was also pregnant. On top of that.
Okay.
He kills her by accident. By
What?
being
He killed?
Right,
Oh
that
my
was the-
god!
which is very different. Which is not how it
Like a
was.
soap opera? What is this?
That's not how fridging works. Not even this made up trope of fridging works that way.
I put my wife in the fridge with our unborn child. Oh my god!
I'm so stressed. By the way, he completely forgets this ever happened.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because the writers, they're hack writers who just copy badly from the book and forgot themselves what they actually put in the show.
And fundamentally, the problem with this show is once you make a change like this, you cannot come back from it.
Imagine what you are in your early 20s and you accidentally in a monster attack you accidentally kill your pregnant wife. What would that do to you psychologically?
Apparently not much.
Not in the show. He's still a happy goat.
Oh yeah, he's like
It didn't affect him at all.
Yeah, no, it's just yeah, no, nothing changes. It's really, really weird. Like he doesn't even bring it up until season 3. Like
They made 3?
yeah, they made 3.
I refuse to suffer through more than the first. I could not do it. Like it was just what is this even?
Oh yeah, it was bad. They
The blight didn't look like the blight at all. It was just some bad gardening accident.
yeah, they did so many weird things. Like they made Moraine work with Lanfear for the in season 3
God.
to create the bubble of evil.
What? What? To make one? Moraine
like
made a bubble of evil?
No, Lanfear, she told Lanfear where they were, and so Lanfear then basically Lanfear created the circumstances for the bubble of evil by working with Moraine.
That's not even how those things work.
Yeah, there's also kind of the funny thing about Mogideon is the lady who creates Greymen by using the 1 power stuff. Ravine has an ability to basically compulse memories from the past 30 years into people's heads.
What?
Okay, guys. I think we can talk about this later on.
Yeah.
Let's try and go on
Yeah,
with
that's
the
true.
video.
Anyway.
This is like
Bastards.
the Lucifer TV show that also has nothing to do with the comics.
When it's hurt, maimed, or killed in order to further the plot of one of the characters or motivate that character. It's named for a storyline in Green Lantern: A New Dawn, where a villain leaves the corpse of the main character's girlfriend in a fridge for him to find. I wish this hadn't happened in the show. It gave the haters a pretty solid talking point. She literally didn't even exist in the books, and then they created her just to murder her. But without getting too much into spoilers,
Has she talked about how they made the 2 rivers a diverse place from the start?
No, she didn't.
With ethnically pure people, like they're barely people living in the 2 rivers, but somehow after the whole point is that this is a place of inbreeding for the past 2,000 years, which is why there are people with such strong magic, because it's in the genes. Bloody hell, and all the rest of the world, they've wiped out all the men who know magic, or have it inherent. That's why it's so weak everywhere else. So there's a good plot point. But and at the end of the story, the 2 rivers, because it's so remote and hard to access, it becomes a place of refuge for the refugees of the war against the Shadow. And that's how you then have people from everywhere, from all cultures and places, end up there. But in the show, from the start, you have pure black Africans and Asians and whatnot. I know I'm on a rant.
All right.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Yeah,
It's just that the story can't work that way.
Okay. That's good.
gave non-book readers with dialogue we get in the books, because Perrin is very introspective, a reason to buy Perrin's dilemma throughout the series regarding violence, and his overprotectiveness of a certain character that we'll meet later in the series.
Okay, so she's...
It was simply the
completely
shortest...
irrelevant. No, that's just badly written.
So
it just shows that the writers don't know how to write a character like that, because they're women who don't know how to be quiet and actually convey that through acting. Oh, well, okay, the showrunner is a gay man who basically thinks like a woman.
Okay, so...
Yeah, that's accurate.
The show made a scenario for another character for a sense of tragedy, and she's like, oh, that's different. It's good, and the way they did it is good. And we're like, okay, how do we know it's good? So we have to get someone who knows the show and says, okay, why is it good? And she's like, it's good. You guys are saying no. It's like, this is badly done.
know.
And they forget about it, as you've said. So,
They also fucked up Shudder logo. Best place
yeah,
in
they
the
did.
whole fucking world.
all right.
Yeah.
distance A to point B, and at least Layla was not the only woman in the series.
Layla?
Far from it. And before she went
So because there's
Layla?
women in the story, therefore
Wife.
it's good?
Aaron's
That's,
wife.
Okay.
that's the argument? Female's good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
Sounds
much.
like it.
But yeah.
Which is what Jordan effectively criticizes in Wheel of Time. So it's while it is pro equality and for the positive sides of women, it also showcasing the negative sides of women is what has the feminists so ambivalent about it. They love it for there are so many strong female characters, but they hate it because all the strong female characters are flawed.
Mhm.
But
And oh no, the male characters can be good.
But if
Oh no.
the argument is women good, that sort of has a bias towards what she's expecting a show to be. So she wants to see women for the sake of it. And that's not how stories should go unless it's literally a story about the strengths and trials and issues of women, which it isn't. It's a fantasy. What is it? A hero's? She said it was a hero's journey, so I'm assuming there's epic adventures and magic and stuff.
The several characters have heroes' journeys, and many female characters have theirs as well. Which is how, for example, how Nynaeve unlocks her ability to actually use her magic at will because she has a massive mental block. And the most thing, and this is what the feminists are at war with Wheel of Time, is that the whole way that the female half of the one power works is that the woman has to submit herself to the power in order to use it, while the men wrestle with it. And that is anti-feminist, because, well, women should be strong. They should not submit to the Force, which is the reason why Nynaeve can't fucking use it until she almost dies. And only in her death, she's drowning at the time, by accepting that she's going to die, she comes into the mental space of, okay, I'll submit. It's all over. I'm just letting go, and that's the moment that the one power finally floods through her, and she basically saves herself. But that means that a strong-headed woman still needs to submit, and that's what the feminists despise.
And her personality gets fundamentally more pleasant when she gets married and has sex for the first time.
Oh yeah. She was fixed. That's what fixed her. the himbo fixed her.
All right.
out was how much of a stud she really was. She was no damsel in distress. Pour one out for Layla.
Wait, so the female is wait. The word stud does not imply being female. Quite the opposite. So she's saying the female is
cool. She's saying the female. She's using the word stud in the context of she was cool.
It's pretty much how she also behaved, so it doesn't matter.
But it just shows that this woman doesn't know what words mean.
Good.
Yeah.
Which is what technically makes her a witch. But that's a different story.
All right.
Well, through the Waygate was a change that the writers clearly did not intend to happen, but it did happen.
The writers of the writers of the show did not intend to do this?
The actor
they just wanted
quit.
to save on budget.
The actors quit.
The actor quit. So basically they stupidly filmed the show in chronological order. And before they could film season 7, episode 7 and 8, COVID happened and shut down production. And when production resumed, the actor playing Matt had buggered off. For reasons we have no idea why.
Well, I can think of some.
Well, yeah,
which is really sad because the actor for Matt, he was fine, and the actor for Rand, he was cast really well.
Yeah. Yeah, he is a very good option to play Rand.
Yeah, but they
Handed him
completely
crap
destroyed
material.
Matt's character as well because he's supposed to be the funny playboy. And there's one really nice thing with the three male main characters, and that is that all three of them think the other two, respectively, know their ways around women and how to deal with them. And by the second, third book, when they're spread out across the world, so the party is split, and they all come into contact with their respective future women, and which is completely different relationships, completely different types of characters, types of women, and each of them thinks, oh man, the other two, they know how to deal with women. I need to talk with the other two and ask them what the fuck to do with this crazy woman. I love her to death, but she's driving me nuts. And all three of them think the same thing. They all have no clue, and they think the others do. It's great.
Yeah, especially Perrin and Matt. Like Perrin and Rand's relationships are crazy. Especially Matt, Rand, and Avienda. That one's crazy.
Yes.
Yes. And
Thankfully,
Matt is
it
the
sets him
guy
up for
who...
his book 3 plot, where he
No,
needs
it
to be in
doesn't.
Tarvalin, so we can get that incredible quarterstaff scene that we've all been waiting for.
Oh,
Perrin
cool.
seems
They
to take
ruined
some
that
of Matt's
scene.
plot points at the end of the season, setting him up to chase the Horn in season 2 and hopefully find Elias, which seems likely because it looks like he's been cast, and some of the images that we've seen previewed, particularly the Murdral nailed to the door, look like they might have Elias in them. Giving us Logain gave us one of the most wow moments in season 1.
Oh, it breaks the world.
Nynaeve going absolutely Super Saiyan with her talent, which is healing.
Yeah, which is not how healing works. Or anything.
It's also
You don't
correct.
just they turned healing into just here's magical aura, bam, you like it's Dungeons and Dragons healing, where you just cast spell, bam, you have hit points. Healing in Wheel of Time is actually a psychic surgery. You actually have to put the muscles and sinews together with your mind. It's insane.
Which is also incredibly hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the people who just do simple healing spells, so this is not actually spells in Wheel of Time, it's weaves. You basically put together a tapestry of elemental circuitry and then put that onto the person and hope it does what you want. Which means simple healing spells are just patterns you learn and then push onto people. That doesn't happen randomly. But Nynaeve she's just, because she's so, one, she's really stubborn, two, she's a perfectionist. She's able to do basically magical neurosurgery. And that is very different from just, oh, I wish everything glows and you're healed. This is not how that works. Also, healing exhausts the target massively.
I would argue this is probably the second coolest thing that happened in season 1, and without Logain, it wouldn't have happened.
So the only
shouldn't
thing
have happened.
that is good, quote unquote, in this scene is that it's cool. It doesn't matter that it breaks everything from the books. It's cool.
Yeah. What also pisses me off about the whole depiction of magic in the show is that everybody sees all the glows all the time, which is not how this should work. If anybody who's not actually, this is a really great idea, because you have this male half of the power and the female half, and the women can see the female magic stuff happening, the actual weaves. Well, and the men can see theirs, but they can't see each other's. They see each other's the way that normal people who can't use magic see it, and who just see the effects. So a normal person just sees a fireball being thrown, while if you are a woman who sees another woman casting a fireball, you actually see all the magic weave nonsense that happens, and not just the bloody fireball. And in the show, they just magic glow everything with no sense or rhyme or reason. And you could do really cool stuff with just selectively showing scenes where you focus on one character and just on the perspective of that one character, which is how the books are all written. Every chapter switches to the main viewpoint of one character, and then sticks with that. And you only get a viewpoint switch in the next chapter.
Giving Sedai early on, in my opinion, this show was a breath of fresh air for female fantasy fans, bringing white tower politics into it, and the unique.
No, it just means you're a female supremacist and a female fetishist. You just want power and you just want representation and feel seen, which is narcissism. You're just a narcissist.
As well as
related Aes Sedai.
Yeah. As well as the putting the showrunner's boyfriend in more scenes. Since the white guy on screen is the boyfriend of the no, really, yeah, that's his boyfriend.
That's really pathetic to have Rafe Judkins as your boyfriend. Imagine having Rafe Judkins as your boyfriend.
Yeah, it's really, really frustrating. It's really funny, honestly.
And it just shows that that the showrunner is also a narcissist who all makes it about himself and his nepotism and the nepotism, which is also about himself. Oh, but it's not for somebody else, which is my boyfriend who's not in the books, so I invent a character for him or some bullshit. Fuck off.
Oh yeah, it's very frustrating.
I have with their sets us up for the White Tower drama that is to come. Plus, Swarane made for some excellent TV, especially given the two actresses that they landed for these roles.
They are not lesbians. And C1 is also not a black woman.
Okay.
She's just a bit tanned.
There is a thing that I feel like I have to explain. I said I are not supposed to look like
middle-aged
menopausal women.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they are not supposed to look like this, which
they're
is the main.
Supposed to look like in their early 20s.
Yes.
Unless they're super old, like unless they are really, really old, like Cadswain Melidron, or
and she's like what, 500, 700? She's like Yoda age.
She's 300. She's one of the longest lived Aes Sedai, but the main reason seems to be that the Oath Rod cuts your lifespan, because the kin that don't have the look and don't seem to age don't have the Aes Sedai look and age really slowly live to be 600.
So you're saying they're heterosexual in the books, but they're lesbian in the show?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. It's like a deliberate thing. Like in book 2, they were talking about like the fact that they were gossiping together about what kind of guys they would get with.
Yeah. And the reason they then killed off C1 in the show is because in the books, after she gets her power back, a little bit, so she gets stilled, and then becomes a maid to a general, whom she then marries later on.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't have that, because the woman is becoming submissive and doing the laundry for a guy. Like, we can't have that. Rather, she's better off dead. She's better off a dead lesbian.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
And casting the Trollocs in Tarwin's Gap was 100% fine with me. At the end of the Eye of the World, the girls take a major backseat. In episode 8, Rand fought the existential battle, which is perfectly appropriate given what happens in
just now
the series.
Noticed.
And the girls were at least able to lend their power to the fight instead of just...
Sorry?
No. Why? Okay, it's just move on.
Okay.
Sitting back. And in case anyone's worried about power creep, most of these women died. So I don't think we have to really worry about this being
real power. And
we don't know how trained Amelisa was. She didn't get the shawl. That doesn't mean she didn't have any power or that she was completely untrained. Matt's a little darker. So what? That makes him more interesting.
Don't lie. That is a lie.
Saw him with...
Sorry.
That just means she hasn't... That he's a little darker. That makes him more interesting. She just admitted that she just has a fetish for the foreigner. That's all she has. She just finds foreign men hotter. That's all it is. She just wants to hump.
I think it's more darker in like morality sense, like the fact that he's a
Yes.
thief, like the
Are you
fact that he's a
sure?
thief. I think
Yes.
so because
Yes, because the text on screen says Matt is a criminal.
Oh.
So I think
Oh,
that's what
that's
she's
But
referring to.
that's still a change in lore, though.
it is massive change.
It's a
Like
massive change, yeah.
Matt's a prankster. He is not a criminal. He is not stealing things. And in
Yeah.
the original script, he was giving a girl cunnilingus so that he could pickpocket her.
Yeah, that's not what Matt does. Matt is an actual woman respecter. They all are. All the three guys, they are woman respecters. And so madly that they don't fucking know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Matt is a ladies' boy, but he is also creeped out when they are after him.
Yeah, like when this Thailand comes after him and like just is trying to get him to sleep with her, and be her basically friend with benefits. He's just like, please, I don't want to quit it.
All right. We're at 7 minutes, almost halfway done.
Okay, then she just has a criminal.
Still has a great heart. That's the Matt I know and love. Also, anyone that tells you Abel Cawthon is anywhere near the top of their list of favorite characters, they're lying. He's basically just Tam Althor light. He's always at Tam's side, and there's nothing particularly interesting about him. So making him darker in order to make Matt a more complicated character makes a ton of
Wait, stop here. What's going on?
Okay, so basically they turned a guy who's a respected family man and a respected member of the community whose word is his bond, is an incredibly good archer, is very loyal to his wife and kids, into a sleazy womanizer.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he also an alcoholic?
Yeah, I think his wife is the alcoholic and
Oh,
a shrew, and a very, very awful shrew. Due to her husband basically chatting up younger women in the middle of town, in a small town, where everybody is up in your business.
I'm not sure whether the show even had any good men left.
That's a really dumb, like, oh, this person has more problems than in the book. That must be more interesting to me. It's like, can you imagine if, like, Gandalf just accidentally killed some hobbits in the past, or Frodo was just, like, blazed out of his mind on smoking and drugs, and he just took naps in the middle of a war zone. He's like, I don't really care. I don't want to go anymore. I'll just sit here, have the orcs just walk over me.
I keep wondering what the writing room looked like. Where they must have been just giggling and cackling mad by writing down more ways on how to make the male characters worse and the female characters into Power Rangers magic ability bullshit.
Yeah, literally, they turn into Power Rangers. Like, what's her face, Alana, actually does a front flip at one point over a like an oncoming magic assault. It's really hilarious.
Yeah.
I'll just...
All right.
sense TV show. Now we might even get a redemption arc from him. And
No, we
as for
don't.
Who
He
is
never
the
comes
Dragon
back.
Reborn mystery? It can be more than just the three boys. I think that makes for great TV.
That's
Oh,
dumb.
and the two rivers looked absolutely ugly in the show. It should be more of a place like the Shire, like some hamlet. little Germanic or English
Oak
hamlet.
Village.
So expanding the mystery of who the dragon is from the three men to everyone is somehow better?
No. It's even worse. Because it wasn't, in the show, it was implied that it might not be a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Which
she
is completely
says one
insane.
of you. She says one of you, and I think that in the shot there is more than just boys.
Yep. Yeah.
Right, I remember. You're right, there was the implication it could have been Egwene. And the insanity. Because the dragon was a man. And his soul, you have this male-female thing with the power going on. It could not be not a man. And have they? I don't remember about the special effects. Have they actually shown the male half to be tainted, or was
They
it
do.
also
They
just the spider, the light spider nonsense?
It's the light spider, but they have a dark like coat of paint on it.
Okay.
So that literally changes the dynamic of the magic and the system of the world from the books. You're like saying this is all different now.
Yeah.
It changes the whole world building because that implies that women, like basically in the books, only guys claim to be the Dragon Reborn. But in the show, they claim, women claim to be the Dragon Reborn. It's like, that fundamentally changes everything because women don't go nuts when they use magic. Men do. That's why people are scared to death of the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah, because when so this, in the prologue, when the big super evil, mega evil thing of the universe was beaten and sealed away in its last death throes. Well, it's not dead. Its last struggle. It tainted the male half of the One Power, which would drive all the men who use the power slowly insane, so that they would eventually just be random magic bombs that just level the world and mass kill people and all of that nonsense. Which is why, after that, the women set out to hunt down men who use the power before they go bonkers. Which is why the Dragon Reborn can only be a man and will struggle with going bonkers. Which is kind of a bit of a problem, because we need the dragon to be reborn at some point to actually finish the job and properly seal the prison of the Dark One. But if we still him, he can't use the magic. But if we don't still him, he will go. There's a potential he goes bonkers and destroys the world. So it's kind of that's the stakes you have in the show. Yeah.
Catch 22, yeah.
Yeah. Great. Great setup.
Kept guessing, Book Cloak's angry, and it gave us a super fun reveal in episode 7. Book readers also got a little treat. Rand showing off his archery skills. He was shooting bullseyes once he came to terms with his fate. Feels like a nod to the flame in the void to me.
No,
and one last thing about the Dragon Reborn mystery, because I'm frankly tired of addressing the outrage about the fact that they made it seem like it could have been a girl. The idea that they might lose information, that prophecies might have been changed.
Yeah, we have that already, but you could have done that properly, you fucking bint.
Okay, so the problem...
Or
the problem with that... Yeah, the
prophecies are pretty objective. The prophecies are pretty objective in that, no, it is not going to be a girl. There's no way it's going to be a girl.
Yeah. It's completely impossible. This is not knowledge you can lose.
I would wager that the main issue...
this is not George R. R. Martin, where prophecy is malleable and often not accurate.
Yeah. Rabbit?
Yeah, the main problem with the point she's bringing out now is that, there was an outrage that, the show might have changed it. And yes, we had reasons. We had proper reasons to think that, because it didn't take a long while to see that the show was getting very far away from the books from the get-go.
It's episode 1, the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, we did think that they can go for something as bonkers as going and making a female dragon. Which is... It is insane.
Fundamentally stupid.
Yeah, and with the prophecy thing, that also is bullshit, because they kind of lost the knowledge of that. The reason Moiren set out, and C1 sent her on that, is because during her lifetime, the birth happened, and there was one seer, more or less, in among the Aes Sedai, a really old one, who knew that it happened, and she told, and Moiren was in the room. I think she was her handmaiden student, something at the time, and therefore knows about it.
Yeah, she was attending the Keeper of the Chronicles and the Amerlin seat. Yes.
Yeah, and she had a vision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when that happened, so they know when the child was born. They know basically the gist of it. And you cannot have forgotten who the fucking Dragon Reborn was when you have one Arja, so one of the 7 groups among the Aes Sedai, the red ones, so that which are the most feminist, by the way.
Yeah, and lesbian, and a lot of them are actual lesbians. It's actually really
because
funny.
they actively hate men. They are misandrous. They despise men, and their whole job is to go out, find men who can use the power, and still them. And when you get stilled, well, okay, you don't go insane. Well, that's because you lose all your will to live and likely just wither away or kill yourself. So they go out, they hunt men because men destroy the world, and therefore we must take all the power from them. And that's well, what more do you want? You can't just
over thousands of years makes tons of sense. Not to mention the.
All right, so that's what I wanted to get at with that. You have 1/7 of your whole witches that specifically operate on this. The men go crazy. The Dragon Reborn, when he comes back, will be crazy. And we have this whole problem of when he comes back, well, the Red Arja wants to actually still him. Because they think, well, he's the most powerful man. So him going crazy will be the worst, so we must still him. That's the whole point.
Girls not being initially made me a little mad when I was reading the books, because it felt like it was setting the 3 boys up to be the main characters over everyone else. Eventually, with Nynaeve's growth and Egwene's growth, it became obvious that they were also main characters, similarly powerful. Making all 5 ta'veren modernizes the show and doesn't make audiences wait to find out that the girls are just...
Modernize? What the fuck do you mean with that? Oh, you mean rewrite it to feminist socialist whims?
Yeah, there's also the problem of it actually undercuts the idea that of all of their accomplishments if they are ta'veren, because it basically means, oh, they're lucky. And the problem is there are very, very, very specific ta'veren characteristics that the girls do not exhibit. They don't warp reality around them related to random chance.
Yeah, ta'veren basically means you have an actual, well-written Mary Sue skill. And the women not having that in the books means all their accomplishments are actually their own without magic fate by the creator intervening, or however that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, now they're just Mary Sue's now.
Yeah. They don't even get, and they don't even understand how to.
It gave us a hook. Season 2 is going to be bigger and better than ever, because who the hell are these people? Book readers know. Book readers know.
They should not have. So the whole thing is with the first 2 books. They pressed the first 2 books into one season of what, 10 episodes?
Well, it was weird.
It would have been perfectly fine to do 1 season per book with that.
Yeah.
To let it breathe. Done?
Yeah, it was weird because they kind of added like stuff from New Spring into it. Yeah, which is weird because New Spring was a bad idea. It's not a very good book. It honestly should not have been made. He should have just focused on the Gathering Storm, but he just got preoccupied with a pointless story that went nowhere. And then they just threw Matt to the wayside. They also ruined Matt Rand's characterization. And Moraine by making her stupid.
Yeah, it's basically the Hobbit movies problem, where they made a trilogy out of a very, very little book, but then didn't even have everything from the book in it that made the book cool, whilst adding all tons of other shit that nobody needed, and not even well. This is basically this in serialized form.
Yeah.
nerfed, for now, yet another hook for season 2.
It's not.
I would even say, if I made a Wheel of Time show, it would be one of the few things where I think an actual narrator would work well.
Yeah, possibly.
Because you have this whole the introduction to the world, similar to the introduction to the Discworld, where you explain, he's the great turtle with the elephants and the disc on it and some nonsense, and because the whole way that it is set up, every book begins with the same introduction of a wind passing through the continent, going through the world, and you have these little scenes that happen here and there, and you have this whole long lengthy explanation of how legend turns into myth and then is eventually forgotten, and then it happens again because everybody forgot how the shit works, and that everything is this eternal cycle. And that you can also always throw in a little bit if you make it for a show, because there you have exposition work differently in how you do it. You can throw in a little tidbit of how something in this world works, like what the fuck is Quendelar?
Yeah, you could even have Loyal be the narrator since he wrote the book, and there's even an excerpt from the book The Dragon Reborn by Loyal in the Hours of Midnight, I believe, at the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of gives away that he survives, but then he doesn't really go through that horrible action scenes in the books. You could just make that. Yeah, just start that with an old one, with the old Loyal.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't work in the show because they kill him off in the end of season 3.
My boy.
Yeah, they have it basically like, you know how kind of in the ways they're suspended in air? He takes a hammer and smashes it in front of the waygate and causes the island to break off and fall into the abyss.
It's not how that works. It's not how anything works. Look, and even if Loyal ever gets into a fight, he should just survive it because he has an accidental armor made of books that he carries in all of his pockets.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's ever so slightly into book 2, giving us that hook that we're going to be chasing the horn next season. Each of those things gave us something to look forward to for season 2. They added a little drama. And you know what makes for good TV? Drama.
No, they
Now let's
didn't.
talk about the quality. First things first. Shut the F up about costuming. It was amazing. The White Cloaks, Swan, the Aes Sedai.
They look so shit. The dresses are so fucking shit. The White Cloaks should just look like fucking crusaders, not like weird people from some Hollywood gala on the catwalk, from some Balenciaga show.
Or like they're, I don't know, like weird monk.
You know what?
Like weird monks.
I think I know why she says this. The costumes look great, because this all looks like this random garbage that women buy from the internet.
They also
and it looks like nothing.
They also look like they were made in Joe Blow fabric store.
Yeah, just random cut together, like not even trying to do cosplay. The thing is with Wheel of Time, like technically, all the people who are into diversity should love it by making it right. If that was a genuine thing, but it never is. If you did it right, you would have people working on garments and fashion styles and architecture for each place. And the interesting thing about the White Tower is that you have these the women, the Aes Sedai, from all over the continent there, and they keep dressing in their original culture. And the thing is with the Red Archer, the red and the greens, especially, because the greens, they want to get married. They marry their guards, their wardens, their warders. And sometimes several of them, they do reverse harem. And
Yeah, they love men. They love
Yeah.
sex.
yeah. So their dresses, the green dresses, they are very open. They're very feminine. And the red ones, despite hating men, they're the most lascivious dresses. They basically dress like light women from the red light district, but although
Some of
they
them,
hate
yeah.
men. So these
Yeah,
are
some of
these
them,
are the
yeah.
most. They should be the most uncovered especially when they're in the tower, and they don't
Yeah.
do that. They're just these up close, uptight dresses that are completely boring, and women would dig when they had been done right. Like give any fan, give Dunn or give me the fucking or even Rabbit, give us this property. We'll make something right. Give us these millions of dollars.
Yeah, I would honestly do this in animated style personally, because that way we can cut costs by since CGI is quite a bit more expensive than animation.
Yeah. Even though they would write it a bit weird, I would trust the Japanese to do it. Make an anime. Make a Wheel of Time
Also,
anime.
just-
It'll be bonkers.
Just remember
Yeah.
one thing. You can save a lot of money, but not by not animating the weaves in the scenes where they don't need to be animated.
Yeah.
Could people have been dirtier? I saw that as a critique. Sure. But I literally don't care because it was fabulous. And when people needed to look dingy, they did. Important question. If you had the one power, would you walk around with dirty clothes? Methinks no. I've also seen complaints about the CGI in the show. And yes, there were some
A lot of the Dark Friends who use the one power actually do. For one, it helps to blend in. And especially with the men, because they don't get necessarily access to the Dark One's other power, which works a bit different, especially the men, they start to rot. Like you look like you have leprosy and necrosis when you're a man and you keep using the one power for too long and too much when you get older. It's not fun. So
Yeah,
your
really
clothes
bad.
are the least of your problems.
Yep.
scenes that they definitely could have done better, but we saw what they did with practical effects. The Trollocs looked awesome, as did the Fade. Episode 8 was not how anyone planned it, and
No.
Pretentious, maybe.
No, just this horrible look of a worm, like shit. This is not how these things are supposed to look. They are supposed to look human, but with empty eye sockets, which is what makes them unnerving.
Not empty eye sockets. It's just like skin over there. There's
Right.
there are no eyes.
There is skin. Yeah, there is skin there.
Yeah. And that's
and
not
because
they have thin lips, and they just smile at you.
the thing is that
because
this
they don't have eyes, you
plays-
feel like they're looking at you.
Yeah, and this plays perfectly into the uncanny valley thing, which is why it makes it unnerving.
Yeah, and they don't make the screeches. They're supposed to. They didn't even bother to make the. This is where your CGI would have been well placed to make their coats not move in the wind. They just hang off as if they only listen to gravity. They have no. There's no what is it? Inertia. They're like
they're outside
creepier
time.
Nazgul.
Yeah, they're and also like Myrtle are rapists. Like it's actually canonical that they are that they will rape women. It's really creepy.
Yeah, so they just made them standard monsters that just like, okay, it's a worm guy, like, fuck off.
I understand that COVID played a huge role in that. Me was easily at the eye, and that looked amazing and played really well in my opinion. I truly enjoyed episode 8.
Okay, here's a
You're
picture of how they
dumb.
detained. So what we have here is there's the white weaves that he's doing, and then there's the black weaves that come in. That's not how it should look. It's the black shit should be interlaced with the white stuff. And even the white stuff doesn't make sense because what you should have is, and that's where they went cheap again, you have 5 elements. You have fire, water, earth, air, and spirit. And this is just random white stuff. So they couldn't even bother with that. If they had actually paid attention or attention to detail, they would even have come up with different types of patterns and weaves to make the respective spells. This is why this is fucking lazy. Any video game pays more attention to that. Any anime studio pays attention to making such things. I mean, well, they're autistic people just like us, so they want to pay attention because they think it's cool, and they come up with the rules of how all this stuff works together. But the people who made this, it's just a lazy hack job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hate it. At the eye, and that looked amazing and played really well in my opinion. I truly enjoyed
Your opinion
episode
is
8,
shit.
despite some weirdness at the gap. This is related to the character section, but let me reiterate that the acting was awesome. Egwene with the white cloaks, Isla, always. Everything Sophie Okonedo did was breathtaking. Rosamund Pike was everything. Daniel Henney was great.
She didn't look she didn't even look like Moiren.
Yeah, she doesn't
Moiren
look
should
like
be
tiny Japanese woman.
Yeah.
Like it's actually the actress
She's tiny.
who played. Yeah, the actress. Yeah, she's supposed to be like 5'2". Like, she's super short.
5'2".
Like,
I thought she's like shorter, like at best 5 foot.
yeah, probably. Like I remember there's I guess like if we're kind of going by that, the lady I think Gigi or something like that. She played Kurichan in the Marco Polo TV show, which dubious quality, admittedly, but she was pretty good in it.
Yeah, and Lan should not have been this weird Asian guy that they have there, who's kind of thin. Lan should have been like a walking mountain.
Yeah.
Like not Conan level, not Conan the Barbarian level, but like think of Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had Dolph Lundgren play Lan in his heyday, that would have been pretty perfect. The chiseled face, the like just stare the enemy down, and I think Chris Hemsworth could do the look, but I don't think he can look just stone cold enough. Maybe that's just because the roles due to the roles he got. But it's because it's this great juxtaposition, because Lan is this mountain of a man, and there's this next to him is this tiny petite woman who is the actual magic wielder, who's just absolute crazy when she actually goes out once in a while, which she does very rarely, because she is supposed to just give off this aura of absolute serenity with the little blue stone that she's having on her forehead, and it's like when Moiren is in the room, you automatically feel more tranquil, more at ease. She pulls you down into calm for a second. And this actress is not doing that. This actress is just a feisty teacher who hates her students.
Zoe gave me full body chills throughout the season, especially in episode 4. Barney
Those are
Harris was
terrible arguments.
well, he will be missed. Saying he was the comedic
She has
relief
emotions,
does not do
therefore
him
it's
justice. Hamid is loyal.
No.
Say what you will.
You absolute joke of a woman. Who's paying
looks
you to say
terrible.
this, you crazy idiot?
And also, like, just she's not giving arguments. She's just saying, "Oh, these actors are great." Gives
Like, that
no
is
reasons why. Does not
that would not-
substantiate anything.
Yeah, if the show had never been made and this guy came with this costume to a convention, nobody would know who the fuck he's trying to be.
Also, it looks terrible.
Yeah.
He looks like the Cowardly Lion. I laughed my ass off when I saw.
I would have been in the German translations with all their faults. They had really good, I don't know what you call this, wood cutting images that you like print down. They're very
Lithographs.
lithographs. They're really, really interesting. So they don't have all the books anymore, so I can't just scan them in. because they were really well done. And there's one of Loyal in one of the earlier books, and it looks absolutely amazing. I hope I can find it at some point. And like I would have been completely fine with them doing Loyal as in full CGI. I would have been fine with that, because doing that costume right is near impossible. First, you would have needed an actor of the size of Hagrid, and then later on, you would have needed more people like that. And it looks nothing like this. He should have these huge these World of Warcraft eyebrows that just go way further. He doesn't have the curly black hair. He doesn't have a beard, for one. That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
Like they have this kind of fuzz, and they have these really big but pointed animal ears, but not really an animal that you can pinpoint. They're their own thing basically, and like, what are they, like 3 meters tall or 250? Like Laurel was, I think, 250.
Yeah, I think
he was bumping against the ceiling everywhere, and
this is where we can say they had to make some concessions for props and makeup and stuff like that.
With that budget, this is not something you get to save money on.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, anyone should be able to see this and say, okay, yeah, they obviously cut corners. We have to forgive them for that, or whatever the case may be. But she's saying, no, this is amazing. This is great stuff. And you're like, wait a second. What exactly is equal to the story in the books? Right?
When I first read it, Loyal was my favorite character, followed by Perrin, and then Perrin took over, and then I warmed up to Matt, and yeah, there's so many cool characters. Like Julian, the thief catcher, he's amazing, and then he's missing for a long time, but he's great. I loved him.
Yeah, look, I am a thief taker, not a thief.
Yeah. Everybody gets to shine, but not in this show.
All right, we're at 10 minutes and a half. We're more than halfway done, slightly. We can keep going.
His hair and lack. I want to see Perrin more, but I have faith that he'll get his chance to shine in season 2. And he did a great job in that scene in episode 1. Other than the fact that I think that the books followed the source material very faithfully as far as the big, broad brushstrokes go. I also think that it
No, they don't. How? When they completely diverted from everything, even the course of how things... They even put events in the wrong order.
What she said was basically a sleight of hand. What she did here was a sleight of hand. So she said they followed the books very faithfully in the very broad brush strokes. So if you zoom out far enough, you could kind of put that statement as partially true.
Yeah, so does the Halo show and the Fallout show, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. This is basically this. Yeah, this is basically a sleight of hand from her talking about it.
If you look from far away enough, Earth is just a pale blue dot. How does that help? The problem's in the details. It's quite the devil.
This is what she likes, though. She likes the changes, or she likes they're interesting because they're. One character is more dark.
She just likes having emotions. If it had been done faithfully, she would like it just as much.
Yeah, I know.
Source material very well. Shout out to Sarah Nakamura. The Two Rivers Women's
Sarah Nakamura is a sellout and a hack.
For book readers, an allegory for channeling the One Power. Sharp non-book readers might have picked that up if they paid attention to Moraine's lesson with Egwene in episode 2.
That's not where that should have happened. She doesn't get access to her power in the first season.
Also, why is the initiation to womanhood in this stupid village pushing women off a rock into the river?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's the two. It's called the two rivers. This is not a river that's there because the two rivers are two very very big and very very horrible rivers. They're very wide. Like this is basically two whiffs of a person, and it's just these magical bullshit rituals that you would expect from some weird African tribe or not even Native Americans. It's like maybe something the Aztecs would do or the Spartans, but well, not with their women. But if they do, like the two rivers are supposed to be some boring ass tranquil European place, and we didn't push women into rivers unless we thought they were witches.
Even then, like,
lot of sense that Egwene picked channeling up so quickly because she's had practice.
She's not supposed
and it makes you
to.
wonder if this was some kind of ancient Manetheren tradition
Also,
that
talking about
was
Egwene.
related to the ability to channel. Rand's existential battle in episode 8 is once again, I'll reiterate, a perfect sign of things to come from
no,
him.
it's not.
Rand's fight against
blowing their load. It is blowing their load. It is fundamentally blowing their load. That is such a problem.
And I so despise how they make the one power look, where it's just these sausages coming from off screen. Where are they coming from? It's nonsense. I hate it. I hate everything.
Dark One, swords, or the one power. It's philosophical. We get a lot of cool fights
You
throughout
don't know
the
our
series.
philosophy.
I'm sure Yosha will have his chance to shine in the battle
No, he doesn't.
department.
No, he
Testing
doesn't.
Rand in this way up front sets a great tone, and it sets us up for a callback later on when we get a similar confrontation, though it may be a while. And the relationship between these two, Soirain, is straight out of New Spring. A bond like that doesn't
why
just
not?
go away unless the demands of the time force it to. And because
No,
Amazon
you
doesn't have the
dumb.
same constraint that Robert Jordan was working with back in the day when
What?
he was writing these,
What are you talking about?
She's saying that
The Wheel of Time is so full of sex and hippie stuff. There's there's a whole Burning Man rebirth scene with the Aiel.
yeah.
So it's really weird.
Yeah, there's also like clear lesbians, like Galena Kazban. She is totally a lesbian. Like there's even a statement in there saying that one of the other ladies was like, "Why did you?" Said that she had approached that they had been apparently pillow friends and lesbians in when they were novices. And Galena was like, "Hey, do you want to like resume and like date and whatever?" And she's like, "No, that was when we were novices. I'm not interested."
Yeah. There is some of that stuff in the books that's there, but it's usually not relevant to the story. When it is relevant to the story and to characters, it is mentioned. But it's not here. This is just put here because Rafe Judkins is a degenerate. A narcissistic degenerate and a malicious, sadistic degenerate. That's it.
I think this is the right route to go. Let's wrap this up by talking about the characters, shall we?
Ruined,
Let's start with my
all of
favorite
them.
character, Egwene. She
Ruined.
is smart, driven.
Oh yeah, another spoiler. Moiren and Lan want to get together at some point. No, I pulled
okay.
your leg there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are not homosexuals. None of it's not there. Fuck this shit.
No, she wants a silver
A
fox. She wants to get married to Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So frustrating.
Fast learner, capable, and just super, super great. They aged her up, but that's fine because we don't want this looking like a YA CW show. Plus,
No,
I kind
we
of love that
don't.
she's the embodiment of, as a woman, it not being a bad thing if you want to follow your dreams. At first, it seems like her dream is to become a wisdom because she loves learning. But then, once the world is expanded in front of her eyes, she realizes that there's so much more out there and she could do so much more, and she wants to do it. Rand, on the other hand, was always a homebody. He is sweet, pure of heart, but also that Two Rivers stubborn that you get in all of them
No,
sometimes.
he's an
especially
Anakin
90.
Skywalker in
He's
this
always
show.
conflicted, he's got a fair amount of angst, and he's just good with the ladies. What can we say? He's shown signs of being strong and capable and withstanding some pretty intense tests. Perrin so far is pretty much broody, but that's okay. He's got time. Everything that Marcus Rutherford was given to do, I think he did really well, so I can't wait to see him in season 2, hopefully training with the Lion.
From when's this video?
This is right after season 1. In response, well, not even in response to. She didn't even watch. So there was this guy named Man Carrying Thing who made a video that was an hour long talking about why Wheel of Time, just as a show, does not work, even separated from the books. And the people in the Wheel of Time Reddit, in the Wheel of Time Discords, hated it. They were so mad at it. Like, they were so angry. Like, and this chick saw the thumbnail and decided to respond to it without ever having watched it. Like, she actually was upfront at the beginning and said, I have not actually watched that video. And yet she's trying to respond to it and even uses the same color scheme and thumbnail and similar thumbnail. And
okay, so she's just active damage control. I would assume she's paid because it's hard to believe that somebody's that dumb.
oh, she's not. She's one of the headers in the Save Watt hashtag on Twitter. Like she's consistently like broadcasting stupid stuff that these show fans are doing, like singing Weep from Anethrin on street corners, getting plain banners that say Save Wheel of Time on Prime, Save Wheel of Time TV show or something like that.
I cannot imagine that is real. That must all be astroturfed.
No, there's video footage.
I believe that there is video footage, but I don't believe that these are real fans of the show. Or it's just these crazy women.
Well, or crazy men. There's a lot of weird men that are into the show for some reason.
Are they gay?
That's what I wanted to ask.
Them or not. There's at least one. His name is Matt Hatch. He's pretty much a giant show shill to the degree that Brandon Sanderson and Daniel Green watched the final episode of season 2, and Brandon Sanderson was actively trying to pull out his beard while watching it. And he was arguing with Matt Hatch, who was trying to defend the episode, that it was bad. He's like, no, what are the arcs for these characters? What does this amount to? And even just like you could see the pain in his eyes when you can see the pain in his voice when he says, I tried to stop them. I tried to make them not do this.
I mean, by the end of by the first episode, but by the end of the first season, it's already irrevocably damaged for beyond repair.
So
there are characters in places where they shouldn't be, and in mental states where they shouldn't be.
So they had Sanderson in the room with these guys, and they just did not listen to him at all?
Yeah, they didn't.
God,
he was trying to get them to change things.
Insane.
They just wanted to destroy.
It's like you have this guy who's like finished off the series. He's like the living embodiment.
He's basically half the author.
Yeah, it's like, hey, what do we ask the guy who made the books good? Like, no, we'll just do our own thing.
And kind of the funniest part is he was doing a live watch with 2 other guys, Daniel Green, who's kind of a show shill, and then Matt Hatch, who's definitely a show shill. And even the show shill Daniel Green was like, this was not good. This was pretty bad. And Matt Hatch is in the middle of them trying to desperately defend it. And Brandon actually has the best rebuttal to him. He's like, you're paid. This is your job. You're paid to like this. Or you're paid. Your livelihood depends on this show continuing. It's like, oh, ouch.
Your career is over if you... Damn.
Yeah.
I hope for the good actors in that show that they ended up in better projects, because some of these actors were decent, but the material they had, that's a career killer, really. This is something you don't want to be associated with. And yeah, Ego Dreamer, I agree. This is Rafe Judkins basically pulled a Ryan Johnson here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even to like being a whiny little brat on Twitter.
He abused his power. He made it reprehensible, and then said, I'll make it even worse if you keep complaining."
Yeah, I'll make these characters gay if you complain. It's like, yay.
Kind of evil like that should just be catapulted out of Hollywood.
Thankfully, it got canceled after season 3, and it will never ever come back. Because Radical Entertainment is stupid, and if they make it, it will probably be an AI created show.
What? We have to wait at least 10 years now for this getting a chance again.
No, actually, iWatt it has been, well, no, probably not. There's something weird going on where iWatt is saying, "Hey, there's something in the works." Where the people that own the rights to Wheel of Time are saying, "Hey, there's something in the works," and they used a stock AI image to try and promote it on Twitter and on our article, and it made people so mad.
Oh man. You know what? There was a really good adaptation and spin-off to Wheel of Time, and that was the PC game from the late 90s, early 2000s. Early 2000s. It was a bit buggy, but it had a 20-year ongoing online multiplayer community, which was very funny. But it had a really cool story. And it incorporated in its explanations of all the items in there passages from the books, which is what got some people into buying the books. I got into the books because of that game, and it had a really good idea into how to make the player character have limited ammo for all the magic spells, because it was you played a very unusual Aes Sedai who was very weak in the power, but she had just enough that she could use the Terangreal, which is the magic items that you can use, and through using those, they were basically used as your first-person shooter weapons and utensils, and it had an amazing atmosphere. Shadar Logov was done. That is how you do Shadar Logov right, as it was done in that game. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
All right,
and eerie. You had a level without enemies, and you just thought like, "Oh God, I'm gonna die." It's great.
I think we're almost 3/4 done here.
Yeah. We only have like 6 minutes left.
All right.
Getting more as time goes on. I loved Barney Harris's Matt. I can't wait to see Donald Finn's Matt. Matt, for me, was the comedic relief. He was a little bit dark. I think he'll come back to the light pretty quickly because he's pure of heart in the end. And he showed that with his relationship with his sisters. Nynaeve is a badass, okay? She's just a badass. She always has been. She always will be. She's stubborn.
And she looks nothing like Nynaeve. Nynaeve should be pale.
Yeah.
Like really pale.
Yeah. Like Zoe Robbins when she's not on the show is actually very funny. Like her YouTube, like when she did a YouTube channel with another of her Power Rangers co-stars, it was actually like she's actually like really funny. But as Nynaeve, she sucks. She's terrible. She doesn't get the Nynaeve is a shrill Karen, but it's played for comedy because she is a shrill Karen, and it's funny.
Well, Nynaeve should be just scowling constantly.
And also, they don't seem to understand that Nynaeve is a massive hypocrite, where she is trying to she rewrites history in her own head frequently, to try and make herself look better. And like she didn't advocate for the course of action that is now causing her discomfort.
Oh, you mean like a woman?
Oh yeah, that's true. But it's like her gimmick. Most of the other women don't do what Nynaeve does. And she also
in the show,
not to that
degree. The women in the show,
yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
She hates the Aes Sedai. well so far. She also cares so much about her people, she will literally risk anything in order to protect them. That is quintessential Nynaeve in the books and now in the show. Rosamund Pike's Moraine? Yes. I was so confused when she got cast because I had only ever seen her blonde and I just couldn't picture it. Then when I saw her and I saw what she did with Weep for Manetheren and tons of other scenes, I realized this is Moraine now. By golly, now when I read the books, that's who I'm going to picture as Moraine without fail. She was
She should have a soft Asian face with like cute big cheeks that are puffy. You wanna put her into a shop window and just point it like, look how cute that looks. That would be Moiren.
Yeah, have you heard what she just said? That when she is going to be reading the book next time, this is how she is going to picture Moraine, which means
instead of the actual description.
Yeah, which means that she basically has no imagination.
Yeah,
absolutely zero.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen for me. I'm always gonna picture the actual characters. There's some good fan art too. Yeah, we should keep going. We're almost finished.
She was capable, incredibly driven, relatively closed off, but because we got her as a POV character, we got to see more of her personality like we did in New Spring, and it was delicious. I loved it. She is an
In the books, was there a single chapter where you had Moiren's perspective?
There are 4 throughout the entire series.
There are some in the tower when she's talking with Siwan and such, but
so
it's not going in depth.
I can rattle them off. So in New Spring, she's a PV character throughout. In the in Eye of the World, she has the last last couple of paragraphs are from Moraine's perspective. Last couple of paragraphs of the epilogue are Moraine's perspective, and she has 3 one POV scene that's split over 2 chapters, and then another scene that is just a little bit later. She does not have any POV scenes in the 3rd book. She has 1 POV scene, or 1 POV scene, or half of a POV chapter in book 4, and then 1 POV chapter in 1 POV thing in book 5, and then nothing for the rest of the series. So it's like 5. So it's about 4 or so.
Yeah, that's not a lot.
Yeah, it's very, very little. But yeah, it's very frustrating that what we could have gotten
made for this show, and I'm so happy they kind of slightly shifted focus to give us more Aes Sedai early on, because I think she is the perfect focal point. And Daniel
here's the reason you should have less Aes Sedai early on, because they're supposed to be this mystical force that you don't yet know about. And even outside the 2 rivers, they are still very rare. There's 200 of them at the point of the story? In the entire continent. They're dying out. They're effectively dying out because the Reds are killing all the men, or stealing all the men. And therefore, there are not many coming after. This is why the discovery of the 2 rivers, which was completely accidental, or rediscovery, because it's so remote that not even the tax collector goes there, every 1 or 200 years, they bother, to the point that the 2 rivers are not even aware that they're part of a wider kingdom. And if you're not taxed, that basically means you're independent, doesn't it? Because they're so inbred in the 2 rivers, the Aes Sedai then notice, oh bloody hell, there's a lot of girls here that are really strong in the power. Because by the time then the party makes it to the White Tower, and the other girls start to be novices, I think it's shortly after that the Aes Sedai have brought girls from the 2 rivers, and it's half a dozen, which is the biggest haul of novices they've had in ages.
And it also happens later when Mazrim Taim comes to the Two Rivers and picks up a lot of boys who can channel
Yeah,
because they've got a genetic bottleneck.
yeah. Which
Me
also
as
proves,
land
by
is
the
an
way, there's a detail
absolute
there.
Light.
The whole Two Rivers thing. The men are still so super strong in the power there. It's so prevalent, but somehow, despite all that, they didn't really get mad that much and turn the place upside down over the past 2,000 years, didn't they?
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Yeah, that's not really explored.
Yeah, it seems to happen. It
Hastiness
seems
to
to
it.
happen. It happens everywhere else. It doesn't happen in the Two Rivers. It could be that that's It could be that that's an internal flaw of that Jordan didn't really consider that when he was writing, or just forgot.
I'm not so sure. I would suppose something else. And because so you have something. Maybe Jordan just forgot to fill it in. Maybe he would have later on. Maybe it's something Sanderson overlooked as well. But there is an easy, consistent argument that you could put into that, and that is during the breaking of the world, all the men were crazy, of course, because you got this instant mega taint on all the people, but over time, that effect could have died down, and the Reds could have been more careful with whom they stilled. They just did it too early with too many men. It's not a given.
I can't get enough of, honestly. He's clearly physically very capable, and he's got that wisdom to him that I can't wait to see come out even more, hopefully, if he gets a chance to mentor some of the younger ones. We did get to see him being a great friend to Stepan.
He also was way too emotional.
Yeah, Lan should not scream like a hysteric, crazy person.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
the
was
dude
basically a woman.
that is described as a stone-faced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to the degree when Lan laughs, the line is, "It looked odd, like a rock laughing." It's really funny.
Like a mountain laughing or something.
Oh, it's just a rock. Like there's a scene in book 2, The Great Hunt, where Lan is describing is talking to Rand about how like he's laughing at the story of Rand running through the women's apartments, and the description that Rand gives is, "It looked odd, like a rock laughing."
Okay, I thought it was a mountain. But a rock works well.
I know like there's frequent descriptions of a mountain use, but it's just that specific line is a rock.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's been a long time that I read it at this point.
Yeah.
In episode 4, especially, and so we're getting some of that. Not to mention, whenever he needs to be emotional, like in episode 5, he absolutely crushes it. And also, shout out to Alana.
You don't know these characters. You don't care about these characters. Lard isn't emotional. You're an idiot.
As we have said, he doesn't need to be emotional ever.
He shouldn't be.
Also, yes. Alana is not Mirel, and they just conflated the two characters for some reason. Very frustrating. And Alana is not Indian at all. She's not described she's pretty white. Like Arthur are not Indian. That's
They just have a tan. Like think Mediterranean.
I think actually a better somebody who would have been a good Alana Musfani is actually the lady who plays what's her bucket. Okay, that's interesting. So dark or darkly pretty, which could mean she's dark skinned, but it could also mean that she's just dark haired. Oh, but RFLN are generally white. Just everybody is white.
These other cultures do exist on the continent, but these are not them.
Yeah, like it's notable that the sea folk are African black. Like that's a thing of note. That's they're like when Tuon comes in and she is African black. Like a lot of Shanshan people, that's what she is described as. Like that's what she's compared to, which is frustrating that they don't seem to get that.
Galana is very lovable at this point and fun to watch, and I can't wait to see what they have her do going forward. And Leandrin in the same way, except she's not lovable, she's detestable, but it's delicious. She is so absurdly unlikable that Kate Fleetwood literally disappears into this character, and I can't get enough of Leandrin, even though I hate her, but I love to hate her. And I've already said this before, but Swan is just glorious. She is majesty. She could not be better cast either. I absolutely adore her. She's also feisty behind closed.
She's so.
Has she had a single word of criticism in this entire thing?
No, this is basically
superlative.
Yeah, everything's positive. There's nothing.
Everything's awesome.
And
she made some concessions in the beginning, but also immediately glossed them over and said they're actually good.
Closed doors, but man, can she put that Amerlin seat mask on. Holy. I know this turned into why book readers should have liked the show, but I hope it was also just instructive and informative.
Well, book readers should have liked the show because it's completely different from the books. You are insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Bonkers mad. You should not have the right to vote.
Yeah, there's also the thing of, she even says book cloaks, which is their pejorative for people who are like, no, this should be like the book. And it's just like it got so prevalent that a bunch of guys called the White Cloak subreddit got banned and had the subreddit closed down, so they migrated over to Discord and just kept on hating the show and created their own YouTube channel.
Good. Hate the show.
Oh yeah.
Hate it more. Hate it with... But have your armor be contemned, White Cloaks.
Oh yeah. Well, their channel is kind of gone. Well, or it's kind of lost a lot of steam because the show is dead. There's really... but it worked. The show's gone. Like, nobody liked it. It was getting terrible viewing metrics. Nobody liked the show beside the crazies.
It was probably similar to Batwoman, just a money laundering scheme.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, what other IP can we use to launder money and at the same time completely defile
pop culture or culture in general?
Everything. It's all about the structure. The culture. This is a victim of the culture war. The culture war is not a war of cultures. It is socialism trying to annihilate all culture. That's the point of it. So that nothing is left. So that only it is left.
Yeah. The
no
problem.
Escapism for you. No inspiring stories. Nothing good.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's keep going. Let's finish this.
For anyone who might have been wondering, how does... I found it to be highly entertaining. I love Book 1 of The Wheel of Time, and I similarly loved Season 1 of The Wheel of Time. I wish they hadn't been faced with...
They're not even... the first two books, you dunce. Because the first two books make the first story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bloody hell. She's an idiot. She's beyond idiocy.
And then they ruined Season 2 by shoving in bits from The Dragon Reborn in order to, and that completely throw up the story. Making Avienda by replacing Gaul with Avienda, and
what?
They have Avienda in a cage, and she's a black woman. Rather.
What?
And she.
She's Ariel now.
Yeah, she actually looks very similar.
Oh my god, Gaul was such an amazing character, and he had such an amazing little side arc.
Yeah,
and he gets both the girls, which is really amazing. What a chat.
Yeah. Yeah. There's also Avienda and Elaine hookup. and Elaine hook up in season 3, episode 1.
Oh, God.
Like literally, they kiss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
with COVID constraints. Episodes 7 and 8 were filmed after Barney Harris left, one of their main characters, and they were facing COVID constraints during the filming of those episodes. So when you think about
If you were if you actually gave a shit, you had said which character that guy played, because I have no fucking clue who that name is, who that belongs to. It's not like it's Keanu Reeves or something. Was that the actor from Mad?
Barney Harris, yeah.
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 Hey, you should have said the actor from Mad. Why didn't you say that? Stupid woman.
Big, for example, they conceivably couldn't have that many people on set, so they relied more on CGI. But there's a manpower issue with that and a timing issue.
I can't change the laws of physics.
These things just kind of
They certainly
cascaded,
tried.
and so in the grand scheme of things,
Just not in that
I
way.
think, given all of the constraints they were faced with, they came out on the other side with an awesome season of television.
No.
Infinitely rewatchable. I can't even count how many times I've watched it.
You want to
because
give
it's
yourself cancer?
silly. It's a large amount. And
stomach
I
ulcer.
can't wait until season 2 as a
Okay, so she basically had this thing on repeat while we struggled to get past one episode.
I don't think
Is
she ever
it?
did. I think she's just a paid shill.
I would agree. But it's super weird that they
Probably.
rewatch season. Like they kind of say, oh, like reread the books. They're better on a reread. And it's like, and they kind of apply that lens to the show, but they don't seem to on their critical thinking caps, or they're blinded by their own stupidity. Because
She has
I,
no-
because I think a similar problem with Matt Hatch, because clearly Matt Hatch is a shill. Like poor guy's clearly a shill. That's the issue.
She doesn't have critical thinking skills. For that, you would need to be able to reflect
Mhm.
and not project.
Yeah.
The book reader, I'm extremely pleased. They clearly care about the source material, and I think they're doing
What?
a really
How?
good job of
Rafe Judkins cares about the source material and that he changes absolutely everything that he finds. Like, it's deliberate.
Also Curate Junkins saying that if you don't like what I do with the show, I'm going to make your characters gay. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's only caring in the sense of how can I destroy every single detail. That is a form of caring, not a positive one.
nailing the
Yes.
main points while condensing, which is going to be necessary in order to get
No.
these 14 books plus a prequel into a reasonably sized series as a whole.
No.
This doesn't necessarily relate.
No, if you did.
Oh, yeah, that-
If you did it well, you could do one season per book. With more than 10 episodes, this whole 10 episode limit is bullshit. You just do as many episodes as you need. In this day and age, with that amount of money, you could do that. Because if you did it properly, on the level of care and honesty as Peter Jackson did The Lord of the Rings, to which turned out good, because he said back then he put as little of himself into it as possible, because it wasn't his work. It was Tolkien's work. If they had
Yes.
done that, they could have
Remember.
done this show for a decade. Just like Game of Thrones.
Remember, if they were going to do this for a decade, the Aes Sedai actresses would look way worse.
You would
Yeah.
have different actresses. It is look, and this is the show where for the Aes Sedai, I would be totally fine with CGI de-aging the actresses, because
Yes.
the Aes Sedai look stands out and looks a bit wrong.
Yep. True.
They do look a bit uncanny because they look young. They look young the wrong way.
To any of the things I've talked about, other than the fact that the show is clearly being very faithful to the source material, but I have to give a shout out to the cold open of episode.
You literally told us how everything is different and how that's good and how is that faithful to the source material. Are you
No.
insane, woman?
Also,
It's not even double think.
The image of her saying that while the scene is playing in the background.
where it's this woman that's in the throes of labor is doing flips and tricks and turning her baby into soup in her stomach. Like, look, she's like, look what she's about to do.
Let me just see this again.
This doesn't necessarily relate to any of the things
That's
I've talked
Ren's
about,
mother.
other than the fact that the show is clearly being very faithful to the source material.
And she's
But I
wielding-
have to give a
yes,
shout out
it's-
to the cold
it's
open
really
of
just-
episode
yeah.
7 because, oh my gosh, it was a highlight of the entire season. My
How would that
favorite
move
scene,
even
episode
work?
7, was my favorite episode, and this scene was shot so well
She's pregnant.
that I
Like,
still
she's
can't get over it.
pregnant and giving birth.
Yeah, and somehow, that knight did not cut her with the sword. He just let her jump through and pull his cape. This is no. This is not how that worked in the book at all. When a woman is in labor, she's not gonna fight. That's not how that works. I'm sorry, girl. You fucking idiot. You are childless.
Does this
You will
woman look
forever
like she
be
has children?
childless. Well, I hope she doesn't. Then our people will be spared her idiocy. Sadly.
It gave us our
Sadly.
first look at the Maidens of the Spear and the Aiel, or at least a live Aiel, and oh baby, can I not wait until we see more of them in future seasons.
That was pathetic.
Also-
he just ran at her. I shall get stabbed now.
Yes,
Yeah.
also the armor doing absolutely fucking nothing.
Must
As
be
per
Taviren.
usual.
As well as like she is literally like having labor pains and she's doing this. Like she's 9 months pregnant. She is popping right now, and yet she's doing Matrix level acrobatics, jostling the baby.
Yeah, you can't assume that she's gonna fling the baby at a night still on the umbilical cord and smacking heads with it like a whip, probably, or Morning Star. At this point, in the book, she was not alone here. They were hiding because they had to, because she's giving birth. I think it was also nighttime.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is wrong. This is all kinds of wrong.
Yeah, it's like there's so many stupid things going on right now.
The whole show is like that.
Yeah.
The whole show.
Let's have a
This is the most awful
birthing
moment.
woman fight with a spear. Like, that's a great idea. We should do that. Let's choreograph.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the most comical moment, like absurdly parody moment of the show.
Do you know what I just thought of?
What?
If you look at it very broadly, she is fighting with a spear, and spears are Aiel weapons.
Yeah.
So that part is correct.
Yeah.
It's a correct scene according to the
She's
books.
also a redhead. At least that.
God, this
Yeah,
show is
the
so
crazy thing is that the Wheel of Time is so full of what they would call progressive
Diversity.
talking points. Not just diversity. Like there's so much of what they would call progressive in these books. But by now, that was all outdated
Considered
and
liberal
sexist
centrism.
and old-timey conservative stuff.
Yeah, it's considered like centrist these days.
Yeah, even though it's very sexually progressive and open relationship stuff kind of, and you even technically have it's not right to talk it like that, but there was one character and that's it's basically exploiting the magic system. One evil character, his soul was revived in the body of the opposite sex, in order to hide that character is using the other half of the is able to use the power, because by being around women, the women can't see the male force the male power being used. That's invisible to them, which allowed that character then to use a lot of that in disguise. That was really well done.
All right, we are a few more minutes left. Okay.
So what I'm saying is, what the Wheel of Time could have done right, it did right.
No.
It was
Are you what?
She's saying it again. She's saying she thinks that if she says it often enough that we start to believe it, like some socialist.
It could have done everything right. It is done nothing.
Yeah. It went out of its way to do everything wrong.
It's basically just an insult to everybody who watches it. The intelligence of everybody who watches it.
Just like Fallout and Lucifer and Halo and name a few more.
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power, yeah.
Oh god, I completely repressed that one.
Yeah, that one's tough.
that happened.
That one's tough. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, even like really forgiving people were like, "No, that was bad. That was really bad."
faced with some major constraints, but it still gave us a story that was exciting almost throughout, I'd say. Compelling. It was beautiful. I didn't even mention the soundtrack, but OMG, it was incredible.
What?
Acting was great. The pacing was great, in my opinion.
What the fuck? The pacing?
I never got bored.
The pacing of all things was completely bonkers.
Yeah, it goes from rapid fire, just going through the books, going through the book in the first 3 episodes, then slows to a snail's pace in 4 through 6, and then goes absolutely bug nuts with episode 7 and 8. 7 and 8. It was really frustrating.
Yeah. The entire travels of Rand and Matt with the whole after Shadar Logov. So Shadar Logov should have been its own at least 2 episodes. You put a big cliffhanger into the middle of that where it's really eerie. And then after that you have the entire problem of Matt succumbing to the curse of the dagger. And you just end the first season with Matt and Rand finally on this very low fantasy adventure, making it to Tar Valon, where Matt can get treated. That should have been season 1.
Characters and recognize them from what I. Anyone who hasn't yet watched the show watches it, either because they want something to watch after Rings of Power ended, or whatever other reason brings them into it. I want them to watch it. Everybody should try to watch The Wheel of Time if there's any way you might enjoy a fantasy series, especially if you haven't found a fantasy series that you liked because you didn't find anyone that you could relate to in it, because The Wheel of Time has relatable characters, some of the best characters I've ever read in spades. I hope
read, not watched.
Dead eyes.
This helped. Being positive, I like to like things. I don't like to hate things.
I like to like.
Yeah.
What kind of
It's productive.
Are you, lady? Do you know what life is? Do you think everything in life is likable?
Everything is nice. Everybody just wants the best for everybody else. There are no evil people. Everything is wonderful. Just like things.
How do we possibly have standards of any kind if we don't know what's good and bad? How could we? This ice cream is just as good as that ice cream. Everything works perfectly. No, it doesn't.
This is actual evil. Like if she Dunn. Here's the thing with this woman. The very end of the book is a little lecture in Taoism, which is very surprising to be coming from Robert Jordan, because in the end, big spoilers. So please listen away if that's not how you say that in English. In the very end, Rand, the Dragon Reborn, has the option to destroy the ultimate evil force forever, for good. He has it in his hand. It's a tiny, stupid little ball like the homunculus in Full Metal Alchemist. He could do that. And he has a vision. He goes through the iterations of the world. What would the world be like if there would be no bad force, no evil, not this evil force, this evil half of creation? And what would the world be like if there wasn't a good one? if the bad one won and the good one would be destroyed. And he realizes that world would be unbearable. It would be bland, like if the evil was destroyed, because this force of destruction is relevant in the end. It needs to be curtailed, but it is relevant in order for people to grow and for things to have meaning, for there to be substance. Because the world without it, everyone is hunky-dory and kind of happy, but there's also absolutely nothing to anything. You die of boredom. And I have a hard time putting it into words. You need the yin and the yang. You need both. But you need them in the right measure. That's what it is about in the end. And this woman wants to live, or lives in her head, in this horrible world where the Dark One doesn't exist. And everything is nice. Everything is wonderful.
Relative.
And you have
Everything's
absolutely no negative emotions ever.
Mm-hmm.
And thus, everything is bland, and it is just a different kind of hell.
All right, 30 seconds. Here we go.
So I hope in the sea of negative videos that you find this one and find it to be refreshingly positive. Agni says thanks for watching, and thank you to my patrons for your support. You are incredible. I love you. All of you are in the description of this video, and if you want to join that group of esteemed individuals, hop into my Patreon and become a patron. There is a link in the description of this video. Thanks again for listening. Until next time. Bye.
Can you imagine?
Of course, she wants to be paid for this.
Watching her stuff and going, hey, everything I look at is positive. Everything. Like, it's just the worst concept of like drama or tragedy. Oh, it was a great show. Everyone died. Shakespeare makes everyone like, no. It's a tragedy, honey. People die, and it's sad. That's the point.
She would be an Oedipal mother who never punishes her child.
I don't know this is crazy. Media is only positive. Everything's great.
I think the problem is she just doesn't like actually have quality standards.
No, she has none. Exactly.
She can't. And this is a deeply rooted issue. She's somebody who would never punish a cheater because, oh well, he might have had his reasons, or just a bad day, or well, we're just playing games. Yeah, but we're not playing a game if we allow somebody to cheat, because that how is that fun? Well, the cheater has fun. Well, the other people don't. Well, I do anyway. Yeah, because you're not actually playing the game. You're just moving pieces on the board. You don't give a shit about the actual game.
Let me just read
just like you don't give a shit about the show being right.
An avid consumer of sci-fi and fantasy content with a particular love for the Wheel of Time, often caught fangirling over the Lord of the Rings, Vox Machina, the works in the Cosmere.
She has particular love for Wheel of Time.
Yeah, and A Song of Ice and Fire 2. For proof,
Which is critical.
see my almost daily fantasy TikToks, my weekly live streams, and my breakdown, reaction, and sci-fi fantasy news videos. But what would be the point? Everything's great. Everything you watch is positive. Nothing can be wrong.
Yeah. Like she has no standards. Like everything is good.
Dune Part 3 teaser reaction. Okay, great. Wheel of Time 3 finale reaction. That was 11 months ago.
This is the kind of woman who would say only positive things about the USSR or the Nazis, depending on where she is.
Okay. Let's not go down that hole. Anyway, we got some memes. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I'm not going to click on
We don't
that
have
one.
that many. We have 3. We only have 3.
Good enough for me, but this is all the meme you need, really.
Yeah.
This is
Don't ask questions. Just consume product.
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty good too. There you go. He-Man is a nice one too. That's a nice.
Yeah, but look at Dolph Lundgren. That is what Lan would look like.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Even.
All right. Well,
Just put him in an armor.
all right. Fair enough. I mean, that was easy.
Yeah, that was relatively easy. That was quick to get through.
I have my comment ready to go. It's about 11 points. Then I got tired of writing them down because it was just so much.
When did you give up?
The dragon mystery. That was like, okay, wait, this is stupid. They changed it to everyone. Anyone could be the dragon. Like that's kind of stupid.
Any of these 5 could be the dragon. That doesn't make any sense with the world building that kills the tension.
Yeah, no, but I did make a caveat. I did put women in labor is fighting a physical death battle with a spear doing flips. I'm like, no.
Women like that got through school and university solely because they blindly regurgitate whatever their teacher tells them.
I don't know. I maybe she's got the whole I'm a nanny. I think positively kids and fantasy and fiction, and you're like, all right, that not all children's shows are supposed to be positive. There's supposed to be some moral in the end there. It's kind of scary to the kids. Like, ooh, don't do the bad thing.
Only care for toddlers and nothing be above the age of 2.
Anyway, that was not my bag, but you guys enjoyed all the bashing, so good for you. I think we're gonna do a Maggie May Fish video soon. I don't know when though, but it will happen
tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow, isn't it?
Hawk might want to jump in on that.
Yeah, we need to fix Hawk's microphone.
Ooh, that's gonna take a while.
Poor
You just
guy.
need to sit down.
Yeah, I don't know. He got a new computer or a computer, and now nothing else works with it. So I don't know.
I keep telling people just buy the stupid Blue Yeti thing.
Yeah.
It fucking works.
It works. I know it's like it's like $100, $200, but it works. Yeah.
I think it was 80 when I bought it a couple of years ago.
Does the job.
Yeah, oh god, it's a decade almost now. Holy fuck.
Anyway.
And it still goes. Like the audiophiles hate it, but like just buy one. It's best average starter thing.
Go read some fiction that is not well, don't watch this, but I guess you could watch or read some.
You can read it.
Wheel
you
of
can
Time.
read Wheel of Time.
Is it still okay? I thought some of them were
It's
pretty
okay.
bad. Okay, all right, never mind.
Oh yeah, the books.
So how I would rank it is books 1 through 4 are pretty good. Book 5 is kind of a slog with a pretty good ending. Book 6.
It's okay the first time, then you never want to reread it.
Well, book 6 you got Do My Wells, which is a really cool moment. But yeah, it's mostly.
There's all these loose threads that are everywhere, and that nothing really comes together because Jordan has to write about 50 million characters, and everybody just gets like 1 or 2 chapters.
And then book 7 is very entertaining, but it does nothing to extend the plot. Book 8 is kind of a holding pattern, except for a pretty decent fight between Rand and the Shanshan. And then book 9 is lame. And has
9 through 11 just feels like filler, which is really a pity.
9 and 10. I think that 11 is pretty good because 11 actually starts wrapping up some plot threads that have been way too long.
Yeah, because Jordan noticed, I just wanted to do this whole series in 12 books, and oh fuck, I don't have space anymore.
Yeah.
And he completely forgot Perrin, which is why in Sanderson's 3 books, and he apologized that he had to make it into 3 because it was just too much, and I'm fine that he did it in 3. As Perrin had to catch. He has so many chapters in those that it's basically one book is only Perrin if you would put it all together, which is him catching up from I think book 5 on. If you look at it, like it's interspersed with everything else that happens, but if you look at the time that actually passes, it would fit that you actually going back in time. But since it's all done in the world of dreams that Perrin is doing for the most part, or that it's so detached from everything else, where he's doing his
he's trying to find his
war
wife.
Party.
He's trying to find his wife.
Yeah, it's detached enough that it can catch up in parallel to the rest of the story.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's a lot of books to choose from, and you should probably start from the beginning anyway, so that's all right.
Yeah. I would just put the audiobooks on and put them at 1.5 speed or 1.2 speed, since they're they speak relatively slowly, but they're really actually very good voice actors. actors. There's a female reader for the lady parts and a male actor for the boy parts.
All right.
The boy.
Anyway, thank you guys for the video. We're going to see what we're doing this weekend. We'll hopefully get our audio issues with all our members fixed. It was nice to have Dunn on after all this time talking about fantasy. Thank you, sir. So we will talk to you soon. Keep the suggestions coming. I don't know what we're going to be doing Monday, but anime would be nice. Any anime would be cool, as opposed to LOL, who didn't show up on Thursday. It was fun. It's like, where's
He
LOL?
fell asleep.
I know, this is his day. It's like, nah, I'll just go without him. So anime on Monday would
He
be
was
good.
very embarrassed.
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyway, have yourself a good one. Thank you for the time. Good night.
Night.
Right.